We're all here in solidarity for Venezuela.
Yes!
For the Venezuelan people. The injustice that this bank right here, this Portuguese bank, right now is doing to the Venezuelan people, withholding the money, $2 billion. That's their money, that they're not allowing them to buy medical supplies for their people during this pandemic. Are we against that?
Yes!
We're against that?
Yes!
I'm Keaton Mansfield. I'm with the Center for Political Innovation, and all of us are proud to be out here today in protest of Lone Star Global Acquisitions, which is the Portuguese bank. This is their headquarters in the United States, their headquarters in New York, that has seized over $2 billion worth of Venezuelan money. $2 billion. Do you know what can be accomplished with that much money? Do you have any idea what can be accomplished with $2 billion?
Since Hugo Chavez took the presidency in 1999, there has been this change of relations because Chavez decided that the natural resources of Venezuela, which was the oil, would be shared by the population.
Yes! Yes!
And would be distributed in social programs like education, like healthcare, and for the self-determination of the Venezuelan people. But not just that, he also wanted to continue the legacy of Simón Bolívar, who's a grand liberator of the continent of Latin America, for this whole integration of the greater homeland, La Patria Grande.
Yeah!
So here we are in the imperialist core, the capital of capitalism. And here the Portuguese banking system that works with the British banking system and works with the American banking system and all of the transatlantic economic system. What we are doing right now, why we are here, is extremely vital.
And you know why I stand in solidarity with Venezuela? You know why I stand in solidarity with Cuba? Because my family, my mom's family, came over here to this country as refugees from Haiti. And Haiti is another country that is a victim of neoliberalism and of the terrible banking systems of the West.
$2 billion of Venezuela's money is being illegally stolen, illegally frozen from reaching the Venezuelan people to be able to get vaccines and to get food and to get aid and to get support. Thankfully, Venezuela has friends. And this siege against Venezuela will not prove successful, whether this bank does what is right or it does what we expect it to do. Venezuela has friends in Iran. Venezuela has friends in Cuba. Venezuela has friends in Nicaragua. None are free until all are free.
Amen.
Until all are free.
Venezuela has friends in the global south. Venezuela has friends with Russia and China. And here in the U.S., you can see Venezuela's friends right in front of me. We have such a beautiful crowd standing in solidarity with the people of Venezuela and standing in solidarity of the government that the people have put in power.
The same who bombed the Middle East, the same who oppress us on the streets.
Yes!
The same who oppress the global south are the same who oppress us workers every day at our jobs.
That's right.
If we want to build power globally, we must stand in solidarity with Venezuela, stand in solidarity of Cuba, stand in solidarity of Nicaragua. We need to stand in solidarity of all of these great people who have stood against oppression within their own nations and their own collective people.
Yeah! Viva Venezuela!
Neoliberalism is destroying the Western Hemisphere. It doesn't matter what country you're in, because it's destroying Americans too. No matter what kind of working class American you are, neoliberalism affects you. And I can speak as a Black American in the imperial core. It's not like these neoliberal elites are benefiting me. What are they doing for our people? They're doing absolutely nothing.
Talk about it.
We're in the capital right here. We have homeless people all over these streets. I have lived in New York City my entire life. And the entire time I've lived here, there's been homeless people here. There's this propaganda out in Western outlets that there's people eating out of garbage cans in Venezuela, that people are poor. People are poor here. People are eating out of garbage cans here.
Yeah.
Here in the United States, we have poor everywhere. There's people, you know, the people of Flint still don't have clean water. Water is a human right.
Amen.
And we say that this is the greatest country in the world. We can't even give our people clean water. What is that? We have empty buildings all over Midtown, all over the Upper East and West Sides, and yet we have a bunch of people who are homeless, sleeping on park benches, sleeping in subways. Why is that? We have all of this wealth, and who is it benefiting? Not us. That's why I stand in solidarity with Cuba and with Venezuela. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm currently living in Nicaragua. Que viva Nicaragua, que viva Sandino, que viva el Frente. We have our elections coming up this November. We know that Daniel Ortega is going to win because he has popular support. Que viva Ortega. We understand that, you know, again, mainstream media, they always want to continue to slander Nicaragua, Venezuela, Cuba. But we're not going to let that shit slide. We're going to call it out for what it is. It's bullshit.
Amen. Amen.
Give back the money that Venezuela needs. That is $2 billion that they have been unpaid. Give that money back so they can continue feeding the poor and continue the project of Bolivarian socialism.
Para su gente, para que pueda seguir haciendo y desarrollando el socialismo, tenemos que estar en solidaridad con Venezuela. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. No govern, give out the money to the Venezuelan people.
We're all here today because we understand very well that the United States is always going to be the purveyor and the main organizing force and institution for neoliberal economic policy. And when we talk about neoliberalism, what do we mean? We mean that is when you have transnational private corporations merging with banks like the ones that we're out here against today. And they want to go ahead and exploit workers, not just workers in the global south, but also workers here in the imperial core too. Amen. We stand firmly against that shit because we recognize that labor, all of the wealth that is gathered through that is ours. That is ours, and that's why we stand with the Venezuelan people, because you know what the Venezuelan people decided to do? They said, we're going to take back this power. We're going to ensure that we're going to have housing. We're going to have education. We're going to have healthcare. I went to Venezuela. I went to Venezuela in 2019, and it was incredible seeing the successes of the Bolivarian revolution. Mainstream media, corporate media, isn't going to go ahead and tell you about how incredible the successes of Bolivarian socialism have established, what has garnered for its people. You have their public housing for everybody in Caracas. And further, Venezuela is continuing to enact food sovereignty processes.
Venezuela! Viva Venezuela!
Viva Venezuela! Viva Chavez! Viva Chavez!
Viva Chavez!
Viva Maduro!
Viva Maduro!
Viva Maduro!
Viva Maduro!